onto The Boys episode 7.
Oh my god, that was on the episode 6. My brain, bro.
Which is phenomenal. Again, they're really ranking it, cranking it up. So we find out a little bit about where Noir went at the beginning of episode 6. Because obviously he ran off. He was like, "Fuck this shit, I am out." And we find out he's hiding in essentially what looks like a Chuck E. Cheese style restaurant, but like an abandoned one.
I would hope so.
Obviously, we don't have anything like Chuck E. Cheese really in this country, but that's kind of the impression I got. It seemed to have like restaurant tables, but also a little stage and arcade machines.
Right.
I've always got the impression that's what like a Chuck E. Cheese is like. And basically we find out he's batshit crazy and is talking to animated characters, like Bugs Bunny and co. Not actual Bugs Bunny, but like that kind of style. But like we cut away before we get too much about that. Kamiko and Frenchie turn up at Mother's Milk's apartment. Kamiko obviously beats a shit. Frenchie hires shit on ketamine because he's had a shit couple of days and he's relapsed. And ironically, Kamiko spent 3 seasons deciding she hates having superpowers, but now she's decided she wants them back.
Oh, God.
Because it's her decision now, and she realizes the powers weren't what made her evil, and actually she could maybe use her powers for good, but without her powers, because of everything she's had to do for the last couple of years, she's always going to be in danger.
Yeah.
While Starlight is going to get Compound V for Kamiko.
Yeah.
Okay, what's that? Actually, there's more to the Starlight story before that. Homelander is once again just calling Starlight fake news. He's claiming that the charity she set up for homeless women is actually being used to traffic women. And she knew all about this, but she doesn't care. So he's basically trying to make her look like the bad guy.
Yeah.
So she's kind of like, obviously, in a lot of danger from Homelander himself, but also the public's not very happy with her because they think she's been trafficking people.
Well, yeah. So
she reluctantly tries to sneak into Fort Tower to get Compound V for Kamiko because she understands why Kamiko wants her powers back. And while there, she finds out Temp V, which Huey and Butcher have been using, has so far been proven to be deadly after 3 to 5 doses. And they've both taken like 3 or 4.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is setting us up beautifully for the final episode on Friday or tomorrow. Or today if you're listening to this, I don't know. Or in the past if you're listening to it late. Like, I don't fucking know. Episode 8. We then find out, and this is what I was saying earlier about I made an excellent read. We find out that Soldier Boy definitely does have fucking PTSD.
Right, okay.
And basically, Butcher worked it out pretty quickly. But his plan is, instead of, oh, let's keep the nuclear man with PTSD on our team, he was just like, oh, let's just give him a fuck ton of weed to try and chill him out.
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
It's not, sadly, it's not Butcher's worst plan, so. We also find out that he's a fucking fraud. So, you've got to remember, Soldier Boy is like a parody of Captain America and fought during the Second World War. But he's a fraud. The story's always been he was there on the beaches in Normandy on D-Day. He wasn't.
Was he in a lab?
He turned up 2 days later for a photo op.
Ah, classic.
And that's the kind of shit he did for years. Despite genuinely being powerful enough to help, he turned up a couple of days later to be the poster boy.
Classic.
I've kind of skipped a lot of like the main story for this episode because actually the main bit of the story was a little bit less interesting. They're going after the last member of Payback other than Noir. who was like a psychic telepath kind of guy.
Right.
He puts Butcher in a coma.
Oh.
But while Butcher's in his coma, we get like a story arc of Butcher dealing with. Okay, so I forget that you haven't seen the previous seasons. So in season 1 and 2, we find out Butch had a shit upbringing. He got the shit kicked out of him by his dad, and he had a younger brother who's no longer alive, but we don't really know too much about that.
Okay.
We then, while he's in his coma reliving his worst nightmare, we find out more about that.
Right. Okay.
So basically, he got the shit kicked out of him, and basically took a lot of the beating so that his brother wouldn't. And then when he turned 18, he joined the army, leaving his brother there by himself. So his brother started taking the brunt of the beatings, but they were getting worse.
Yeah.
And then eventually it appears his brother found the dad's gun and killed himself. And Butcher blames himself for that to this day.
Yeah.
Because he's like, if I didn't leave for the army, I would have been there to stop it happening, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Not a... Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rough one. Not, like I said, not a memory he would have wanted to be reliving.
No.
During this time, Huey kind of realizes working one-on-one with Soldier Boy that Soldier Boy is not the fucking guy. And
really?
Maybe we should rethink our plan for killing Homelander.
Interesting.
Because working with Soldier Boy might actually be worse than Homelander.
Wonder what gave that away.
To the point where he finds the guy that he agreed he would help Soldier Boy kill first, and convinces him to release Butcher from this coma, because if he doesn't, Butcher will die. And then he will get him away from Soldier Boy safely.
Right.
And then what ends up happening is, of course, he releases him from his coma, and as he releases him from his coma, Soldier Boy fucking kills him. Yeah. Soldier Boy then kind of looks like he's about to kill Huey. But Butcher flashes his laser eyes. Just kind of like oi, just chill the fuck out, right? And he does. He goes back to smoking his weed.
Oh, okay.
But there's like a kind of running thing. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be part of the PTSD or just showing that the weed is making him super paranoid on top of everything else.
Yeah.
But he keeps on thinking he's hearing voices the whole time.
Oh.
Then we get... So here's the thing. I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok, but after episode 6, everyone on TikTok was like, yeah, Soldier Boy's not a great dude, but he's not that bad. How can they expect me to hate someone who's that good looking? Because he's being played by Jensen Ackles, who's a very good looking guy.
Okay, right.
What we find out during episode 7 now has everyone on TikTok collectively going, hey, no, fuck Soldier Boy. That guy's a douche. Yeah.
People love to switch up super quick.
And basically, the reasoning for that is Noir was part of Payback. And while he's hiding out, talking to his animated characters, we get an animated remake by these like characters of what happened. So instead of giving us a flashback, they give us this really dark scene, but done with really bright animated characters.
That's just twisted.
It's so twisted and so brilliant. So basically, we see Payback training. Noir bursts in back when he could still talk and goes, "What the fuck, dude? You cost me this movie role. How could you do that?" At which point, Soldier Boy just mercilessly starts beating the ever-loving shit out of Noir.
Oh?
Basically going, I'm the superstar. You dare try and get above your station again, I will fucking kill you.
Man's got an ego.
Man is deranged and has an ego. He is Homelander. He's the exact same. Except instead of a baby wanting approval, he's a grown-ass man who is vindictive, which makes him scarier.
Yeah.
So he literally beat Noir almost to death.
Shit.
At which point, Vought gave Noir and Payback permission to try and kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what resulted in Noir getting the traumatic brain injury that means he can no longer speak.
Right, okay.
And what led Soldier Boy to being captured by the Russians and put under.
Right.
But what we also find out during that flashback is the reason Vought decided that it was okay to do it now was because they had a replacement lined up.
Oh.
Baby Homelander.
Ah. I see.
This is where shit gets really interesting.
Okay.
We find out that Soldier Boy is Homelander's dad.
Oh.
Not long before he was killed.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was told to go to the science lab because they wanted some of his product for some tests. And it turns out that product was used to create Homelander.
Oh shit.
So here's the thing. That doesn't explain why Homelander can fly. We've only seen one other superhero who can fly.
Mm.
And who ages as slowly as Soldier Boy.
Mm.
That was Stormfront, the Nazi, who would obviously want genetic perfection.
Yeah.
So she'd probably be down for a project like this.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if you remember me mentioning, Hori. In
Probably
season
not.
2, Homelander and Stormfront were shagging.
Ooh.
And I mean, as early as the beginning of this season, she was still giving him handjobs.
Oh.
So, I mean, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but a lot of people are pretty convinced that Homelander's dad is Soldier Boy and the person who gave the genetic material as his mother was Stormfront.
I presume they don't know?
We don't know for sure that Stormfront is the mother.
Okay.
Soldier Boy knows that he is Homelander's dad.
Oh, okay.
And he told Homelander at the end of the episode in a little phone call.
Right, okay.
And the phone call kind of went as such, it turns out I'm your daddy, son. And the crazy thing is, if they wouldn't have tried to kill me, I would have let you taken over the mantle when you were old enough. Because what kind of dad wouldn't want that for their son?
Oh, shit.
Which is like a really weird kind of, he's so egotistical, he thinks he'd be the perfect dad as well.
Yeah.
Well then. Couple of other highlights throughout this show, this episode I'm not telling these in the order they happen. They're just other bits that happen that are worth noting.
Mm-hmm.
We find out that Maeve is still alive. She's just being held as like a prisoner in the bottom of Vought Tower.
Tough scenes.
And she's surprised she's alive. We find out Homelander's only keeping her alive so that he can harvest her eggs to have a baby.
Okay.
But she got very happy to see Homelander because Homelander has a bruise on his face.
Why does that make?
Because no one's ever made him bruise before.
Oh.
So Maeve's like, it's finally working. Someone's almost got you.
I see.
Obviously, I said Starlight's been accused of being a child trafficker.
Yeah.
But as she was leaving Vought Tower with Compound V for Kamiko, she bumped into Homelander and basically baited him into admitting everything while on an Instagram live in her pocket.
Ooh.
So that was right near the end of the episode, but it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Ooh.
Mother's Milk punched punches out his daughter's stepdad because his daughter's stepdad is proper drinking Homelander's Kool-Aid and thinks that Homelander's perfect. So MM's like, no, fuck you, he's a piece of shit. And he's like, dude, what do you mean? He's great. You're listening to that fake news media, aren't you? You need to open your critical thinking. And I just punch him in the face. It was brilliant.
Bruh.
What else was there? Oh, just a small little thing. Going back to A-Train storyline. So A-Train didn't die. They managed to find a heart donor.
Oh shit.
Would you like to guess who the heart donor was?
I have no idea.
It was Blue Hawk. They took the heart of the racist guy who'd paralyzed his brother and put it in his body.
That's...
How fucked is that?
Yeah, that's kind of some weird sick sadistic game.
How sadistic? Do you know what I mean?
What? Like...
Yes!
Surely they knew, right?
Yeah, they knew. Ashley was in his room trying to sell it to him as a good thing.
What the fuck?
I know. Imagine waking up after a heart attack
Bruh.
to find out the racist piece of shit who ruined your brother's life, his heart is now powering your body.
I mean, also look at it from the opposite side and go, your racist heart has to be in a person of colour that you hate.
I just don't think anyone really takes it that way, though.
No, I know they don't. But
so yeah, that was really fucked.
Yeah, that's a bit messed up.
Yeah. So basically, the situation is now Huey and Butcher have realized Soldier Boy's bad, and not bad as in bad, but we can make it work. Bad as in shit, he might be as bad as Homelander. Homelander and Soldier Boy have realized they're related, but they both kind of still hate each other.
Mm-hmm.
Frenchie, Mother's Milk, Starlight, and Kimiko might have kind of worked out a plan now that Kimiko's going to have her powers back soon. And Noir has kind of psyched himself out and is ready to fight Soldier Boy.
Okay.
Oh, one sec. I just realised I didn't write it down because it's so insignificant.
Oh, no.
So the Deep got married back in season 2 after he got kicked out of 7 for sexually assaulting Starlight. He got married to a woman who's basically been his PR person ever since.
Right.
He tried to sell her on the idea of bringing a third into the bedroom to spice up their love life.
Okay.
Now, come on, I heard it in your voice. Who do you think the third was?
Is it the person with the stretchy appendage?
It was a fucking octopus.
Yeah.
So then we get a threesome scene of the Deep, his wife, and the octopus, which is the Deep and his wife laying on the bed next to each other, and the octopus just latched around the Deep's waist. So the Deep can communicate with wildlife. And he turns to his wife with no irony and goes, I can't remember the name of the octopus. And goes, she wants to taste you. And the octopus fucking puts a tentacle on the wife, and the wife just freaks the fuck out. She's like, no, I can't do this, I'm out. Just leave me alone, never want to see you again. Which is a very, very fair response.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck?
But obviously, and like, here's the thing, I'm not advocating for this, but the Deep's like communicating with this being and is like sees it as more than just an animal because they can communicate with one another. So he's like, it just thinks you're attractive. Like, why are you being such a weirdo about it? It's being really nice. And we're like, you're fucking an animal, you sick fuck.
Yeah.
Because like,
just doesn't make
as the viewer, you don't get to hear the animal either. It's purely the Deep.
Okay.
So you don't even get to hear like the telepathy or anything.
Yeah.
So it's very easy. Like, it's even easier for you to sit there and go, you're a sick fuck, because you don't even get like the kind of communication.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got the finale of The Boys next week.
Right.
There is obviously a season 4 that got confirmed after like 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's not going to be everyone dies. I've got a feeling there's going to be a fuck ton of dying though.
Big fight.
Apparently, I haven't seen the trailer for the last episode of Actively Avoid It. Apparently, it's not like a trailer. It's like a little spot.
Yeah.
A hype 30 seconds or whatever. But apparently, in one of the shots, Frenchie's putting on like some goggles. And apparently, whenever Frenchie puts on goggles in the comics like that, is when he goes on like a superhero killing spree.
Oh shit! Okay.
Because basically, like Frenchie is like, he's a mad scientist essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really good at working out how to kill a soup based on their powers.
Mm-hmm.
So like Translucent back in the first series has like he could go invisible.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it works is he got like super armor that went around his skin, but it also bent light.
Right. Yeah.
So he was basically impossible to kill when he was in that form. So when they captured him, he just went into that form and was like, haha, you can't do anything. So what Frenchie did was hide sleeping pills in his food. And then when he fell asleep, he put a stick of dynamite up his arse.
I'll do it.
Yeah. So like Frenchie's that kind of like he breaks it down, works out how to kill the super, and kills the soup.
Right. Okay.
So it's going to be a really good episode. If you fancy after we finish this binging the rest of the boys so that you're ready for tomorrow's episode, legitimately it would be worth it. Actually, no, you've got 3 seasons, not just this season.
Yeah, no chance.
Scenes though, imagine.
No chance.
So basically, we have had 2 of the best weeks of the boys ever, back to back, and it's truly phenomenal. I cannot wait to see how they wrap up this season.
Sounds like it's been wild.
Yeah. In fact, yeah. Just yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And moving on to more new